Welcome to the
unofficial
Dental Hygiene Podcast. And we're the Mom Genists.
I'm Christy.
This is Jasmine.
Enjoy the show.
These are the tales of two hygienists, one East Coast RDH and one West Coast hygienist. Listen as they tackle the profession of dental hygiene with humor and enthusiasm. Now, please join Michelle Strange and Andrew Johnston as they tell you a tale of two hygienists.
Buddy, good morning. Good Sunday morning to you.
Do you see this hot mess?
I see that hot mess every time we record, so
Yeah, right.
It's all the same to me.
So I'm in Canada, in Vancouver, at the International Congress of Oral Implantologists. It's their World Congress, and so we're in Canada. And I went to a gala 2 nights ago, and when I woke up yesterday, I was hurting a little bit, and so did very bare minimum to get my butt up and to the booth. And I go to the bathroom at some point, and I look in the mirror, and there's glitter all in my hair.
Oh, no.
I can't get it out.
Oh, no, Michelle.
I look like such a mess. But it was a masquerade ball, so I had like this glittery face mask, and that glitter got everywhere. And they're super cheap, so if you started to sweat, it literally stained your face. So there's a picture of me, and my nose is like really pink. It's because
Oh, no. Oh, Michelle, no. So let's go back. So you were there to work the booth. Did you speak at this one too?
I did. This was my lecture. The first time I had presented it, it was called Dentistry or Insanity, a fresh look at old practices. And it's pretty much was based off of the article that I wrote back in February, saying like the 5 routine things we do in dentistry that don't make sense. Why are we doing these things over and over again, despite newer approaches and better research? But our profession literally defines insanity sometimes, where we're just doing it over and over and asking our patients to floss, 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 and then hoping that they're going to get a different result. And it's just not going to happen. So you have to change it up. So it was fun. I got some good feedback. It was I had a lot of great people in the audience, and my new boss was in the audience, and so
oh my gosh,
it was a
how
little.
did that go?
Everyone thought I did a great job, so I got really great feedback.
Good.
So I can't complain about that. But it was, for your first time giving it, I don't want to say that I have things scripted, and you and I have talked about this before, but I at least know the points that I want to make on each slide. So even if I do go off on a tangent, which I know it's shocking that I would possibly do that, but if I go off on a tangent, or if somebody in the audience asks, at least I can be like, okay, I've hit boop, boop, boop. Nope, didn't hit that one. Let me do that one really fast. Versus it being my first time and not being as well rehearsed with it. I was like, I kind of finished a little faster. So it was only like 45 minutes versus an hour, because there was a few things that I just didn't hit. But the person before me went over 10 minutes, and then it was lunch right after me. So I think everybody was fine with it. Yeah.
I tend to go a little bit faster too. And I don't think it's because I miss things. I think I just talk too fast, and if I plan for 210 slides, I think is what it was, I can get through it in an hour and a half, because I'm like, boom, okay, boom, next, let's do this. Because I feel like the audience doesn't want to sit there and just like listen to me drone on and on and on and hit this one specific topic for too long. And so I just try and keep it fresh. But I'm also not a professional like you are, so.
I wouldn't ever call myself a professional at anything. I'm just surviving most times.
How does a like this masquerade ball gala thing come into play? Like, was that associated with the conference, or is this completely separate?
Conference. So I am in Vancouver, where our buddy Claire Jiang is, and this is what I do love about traveling. Like right now, this is a crazy month. This is not a lifestyle that most people can live. I'll fly back home today. I'll land at 11 p.m., have Monday, and then fly out Tuesday for another study club and be gone. And I've already come back from RDH. So it's like
Hold on. And even before that, you were on the West Coast. So it was like West Coast and then home and then RDH and then home and then
now West Coast.
Vancouver and then home and now study club.
Yeah.
And hopefully going home again.
Yeah.
All within what, like 15 days or like 20 days or something like that?
Something crazy like that. Yes. So it's been a little nuts. But what I do love so much is that I can literally put on Facebook, I will be going to a city, and there's someone I know and love there. Like that, I think is so crazy, and it's so unexpected. I might not even know that they live in that city, and I get to go hang out with them. So I landed, and Claire and I had a great lunch and walked around. I got to see a little bit of Vancouver, and then she and I went to happy hour, had drinks with Edie Gibson and Kathy Carlson and all of my little friends that I know from like being at the booth all the time. And I found out I had an extra ticket to this gala. So Claire had an extra dress. So I raided her closet and wore her dress, and she came with me, and we just had this great time.
Awesome.
Like, it was so random, but I love it. But the
if
gala,
you want, like when you come to Portland and stuff, you can raid my closet and like try and find some clothes to wear for the next gala that we do in
I'm just
Vancouver or
gonna
Portland.
stop packing. Like I'm just gonna find a friend
Yeah,
in
you
each
might as
city
well.
and
Yeah.
just borrow their clothes. My shoes broke. Oh, right before I get up to go speak, my heels that I love so much, the little strap, like elastic part, popped off, and I had no shoes.
Things are just breaking for you, buddy. Your earbuds broke. The
Yeah.
shoes broke. Oh my
This
gosh.
is my life, though. Just one
Hey, I
big
got a question
giant
for you.
mess.
So you say when you go to cities, people that you know and love and like want to hang out with and talk and whatever. Vancouver, Washington. Who is it? Me or Kara?
Oh, yeah.
That's the question.
Oh. Well, Kara, I could definitely read.
Well, no,
her
you took too
closet.
long already. You took
I'm like,
too long
I'm
already.
weighing the pros and cons here. Kara has clothes and shoes.
Yeah. I mean, I have those things too.
You do, but none for me.
I have like some flip flops you
Actually,
could wear.
I probably could wear Allison's clothes and shoes. So maybe
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
you
probably could.
Maybe you and
I
Allison.
wonder if she might still have some of her like her Chinese dresses and stuff she wore for a long time ago.
Oh, definitely you, buddy.
And you're
I didn't-
okay. So yeah, that part will get taken out. Whatever.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something else. Hold on, we got to switch gears because we don't have very much time. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Did you want to talk about the gala one more time? Or
No.
are you good?
I'm good.
I want to talk about Europerio
Oh, I'm excited.
because we just got a message from our buddy Tim. Did you get a chance to read that message yet?
I did.
Okay. I'm getting really like, I want to make this a plan if we're really going to do it. And I want to make those plans right now on the air.
On the air?
While we're doing it. Might as well.
All right, Andrew.
Are we committed to doing this?
I'm 100% committed to going to Europerio.
Okay. Do you want to go to London for a couple days beforehand?
Sure.
Do you want to try and meet with a bunch of people, maybe some listeners or something in London, maybe like that Monday or Tuesday before Europerio?
Sure.
Okay. And also, do you want to see any sites in London at all?
Yes.
What
Duh.
sites do you want to see?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just show me.
Those are
things.
things that you need to. Oh, I guess Tim. So, okay. So
And I
that's,
have friends
that's
there
that.
too, so I'm sure they could all show me around too.
What's this me stuff? Where am I going to be?
I just assume that you're
Am I
attached at the
chopped
hip
liver?
anyway. That is unless you become the
Tim?
social butterfly that
Just
you
kidding.
are, and then I'm always having to stalk you down. Like, where the hell did Andrew go now?
I wish you could see my face right now.
Drive me crazy.
Disgust by the words you're saying. I don't understand
Drive
what
me
you guys are
nuts.
saying about that. You know what? I will tell you this. I'm a business person and I make business deals. And so I talk to people about business things. I'm not a social butterfly.
I wish you could see my face right now.
Oh, well.
Anyway.
So there's that. I also want to go back to another thing that we should have talked about like 12 episodes ago about, do you remember that one email we got that said if you could set up your op any way you want it to be, what would it? Okay.
We're terrible.
We are terrible, but we're getting back to it now. Yeah, whatever.
I'm sure they're already like seeing their 3-month recall at this point.
I know that's the sad part. So, ladies,
so
we're sorry about that. But we did get some feedback. I actually asked a few of my friends too about like starting from scratch, what you would have, and the biggest overwhelming thing was instruments that you love, instruments that you know, instruments that are high quality, and not just your day-to-day setup, but also having a perio setup and also having implant setups. So that was kind of a big deal that multiple people reached out and said, hey, make sure you have that at the very, very least, because that's going to get you from, just throughout your whole entire day doing the very bare minimum of our job. The other thing that they said was hand pieces. Make sure that you have a hand piece that's also comfortable, since we use it a lot. Subgingival air polishing came up several times as well.
Heck yeah.
Michelle, yeah, you're all about that. And so if you have the opportunity, I don't know brands. Do you have a brand name, Michelle, for
the air polishing?
Yeah.
Well, there's a few. There's definitely a handful. Colteen, I always say it wrong. They have the Biosonic. Hugh Freedy has EMS. Action has their, I think they call it a handy, or maybe that's Hugh Freedy. Action has one. Piezo surgery, the new piezo scaler will have one out. There's quite a few on the market for sure. But the thing is that you can't put your glycine air polishing through, let's say, a ProfiJet that you already have. And that's what.
Tell me about that. Why?
Because the particle size is way too small, and you need it's almost like a special lumen, so that it won't go through so fast. Because
Gotcha.
I mean, you'll waste powder like crazy if you try to do that.
And so, is there a piece that you can retrofit on there to make it smaller, or do you have to buy a whole new unit?
I think it's a whole new unit.
Okay.
But just kind of keep in mind that there's some instruments that are going to be outdated, and you can only retrofit to a certain point. And glycine air polishing is new. Not new in the world, because, again, Europe's had it for well over a decade. But here in the U.S., it's going to be like a new thing. And, yeah, it is another piece of equipment. But if I had to compare it or liken it to anything, it would be when Cavitrons and Piezos came out. Like your ultrasonic or your power scalers. Like, that was a whole new thing. And, like, you can't make your Titans do what a piezo or magnetostrictive does. So you have to get new equipment, unfortunately. But I will also then say, I'm here at this meeting, and these doctors are throwing down $2,000 on a sinus lift kit without even thinking twice about it. So get yourself some damn instruments that work, folks.
Yeah, for sure. Some more things that they mentioned was for oral hygiene instruction aids. There's a couple different things. One is getting yourself a really good model, because people like having that tactile, whatever that they said. It's not just showing pictures. It's like being able to see it in your hands and feel it in your hands, and whether that looks like a big plastic model, kind of like those big dinosaurs that would get my kids, or whether it's going to be.
I would not have that anymore. I'm going to animation.
Well, that was the other thing. They did say lots of videos was the other oral hygiene education things. And there's a lot of different companies out there, I guess. One was Casey. K or CAES.
Yeah, because it goes with,
or something like that.
It's with another software, EagleSoft maybe? I don't know.
EagleSoft, I think, yeah. But there are a lot of those types of things out there. So make sure you have that. And then saddle chairs was another huge one. They said that definitely have that. As far as setting up your op, no one really gave any ideas about, like, should you have a 12 o'clock cabinet, or should you have this or whatever, which I know that probably wasn't part of your question about, the logistics of the cabinetry. It should already be there from what it sounded like. 'Cause it sounded like they're just setting up the operatory from scratch.
And I'd
But
say a
those
good
are some of the
intraoral
things that we
camera.
heard.
You
Oh
gotta
yeah,
have a
that's
good
a really
intraoral
good
camera.
one.
Yep.
Yeah, I
And
agree
I
with
would
that
even go
for
with
sure because
some kind of probing software, even a dental rat, Florida probe, something, so you can chart quickly.
yeah, because you can't overstate that. Like you need to chart quickly, but it needs to be super accurate. And I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes people when they go too fast, they don't have help. They just kind of. That was probably a 4, but let's make it a 3, just to make it easier or something.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that people are unethical. I'm just saying that in the heat of the moment, in the day to day, that people might just be rushing a little bit
And
too
I
much.
think too, in this day and age, like we're learning that it's not just numbers; it's bleeding points, and we got to document those because that's one thing that doesn't get documented. And you know, I'm not as proficient at EagleSoft as I am with Dentrix. I don't know if that's the reason, but I hate probing in EagleSoft.
Oh, really?
Because when I was
I
with
feel like it's all the same.
No, when you are in Dentrix, and let's say I'm again having to hand do this, and I'm like 323, 323, 323. Oh, that is a 4. All I have to do is hit an arrow, back, go put a 4, and keep on going. With EagleSoft, you have to click the number. You have to get your mouse, click it in that spot, and then keep going. And then if I'm doing bleeding points in Dentrix, like 323, 323, I see 2 teeth back that there's bleeding. I just hit arrow key, up, hit a B for bleeding, and then go to the next one. And it'll keep on going.
Very nice.
So it's
Very
just
nice.
so much easier. And I think that's why I'm like, oh, maybe I'm just making excuses for myself, but I'm killing myself at this outreach program because they don't have probing depths. So I'm trying to do everyone. And God, it's the worst. I'm not enjoying this. Not enjoying it at all.
Oh no. I was just thinking like we have this Axiom is what we have as far as our software, and it does everything that you're talking about for Dentrix. It's mostly used in schools. A lot of the people I meet that I think they were like at Columbia or NYU or whatever the dental school is over there. They mentioned they had it. A lot of dental schools use it. It's mostly for research, mostly for education type settings, but it's really good. It collects a lot of data. But yeah, it's the same thing. You can use your arrow keys. You can just put the B. You can just hit P for plaque. You can do S for separation and stuff like that. So there are a lot of really cool things with it.
Fix that EagleSoft.
Hold on. So I'm going to read one review that we had that's a little bit old also. So sorry about that. Are you recovered yet for Under One Roof? I know you've been traveling.
Ish. Yeah. I mean, I'm not as... I actually went and got an IV and got a steroid because my allergies were out of control and felt like a new person afterwards. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel better.
Good for you. I feel like this week, I didn't travel all that much. I traveled a little bit for work, and we got in late Monday night because we went to a ball game with Matt, and it was really fun on Sunday, and then flew out Monday night, did all our stuff, and I went to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but then on Tuesday or Wednesday, I found out my doctor was going to be out, so they're like, okay, well, we need to find a place to put you. So they're like, oh, go up to north of Seattle to work on Friday. I'm like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So then, like, the kids are gone. So Allison and I yesterday just spent, I slept until 8:30, which was fantastic.
Good for you.
And then we went to a farmer's market, which, whatever. I'm not against farmer's market. I actually like them a lot, but just I don't want to be like the wussy guy. But I actually liked it a lot.
Wait, I'm sorry. What would make you the wussy guy?
For going to a farmer's market.
Are you kidding me?
No, that's not a cool thing to do. Anyway, you know what? Let's not get into this. It's fine. And and so then we came back and we watched. There's The Defenders is like a new thing on Netflix. One of the Marvel things. It's a new thing on Netflix. So I watched a few episodes of that, and then I just tried to get caught up on all my emails. and it was nice. It was like relaxing and whatever. And then today, I'm going to leave here in just a little while and head down to Southern Oregon after trying to fight all that stupid eclipse traffic.
Yep. So I am so ready to be home, and I tried to get a red eye last night, or even like a super early flight this morning, because, again, I'm not going to land until 11 p.m. in Charleston. And I mean, the chick on the phone was almost like laughed at me. She's like, "Oh, you want to go to Charleston? Like, everything is sold out because of the eclipse. Everything is shut down in Charleston. Everything is closed. It's going to be crazy." I'm excited, though. I mean, this is something that we're not going to see in our lifetime again, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I told the boys, I think they have them in like different areas across the world. I'm like, don't worry, we'll see it again. I think. I don't know. I could be wrong about. Yeah, because I was looking at the next one's going to be like in 2020 something, and so where we're at right now, it's like 99% totality.
Yeah.
But then my in-laws wanted to take them up to Olympia, which I think is like 95% totality. So they'll still see something cool.
Yeah.
But I was looking online, and they said something that's like, I don't know. I can't remember if it's like in 2020 something or in 20 something years or whatever it said. There's another one that's going to come up from the south and go like right through like the Midwest or whatever and go like south to north. And so I'm like, oh, we'll just go to that one in 20 years, depending on what your life looks like too. So sometime in your life, you will see it in totality.
Interesting.
I could be wrong on all of that.
You could totally be wrong.
All right. Let me read this, and then we'll go to our interview. So like I said, this is a little old, June 14th. So like 2 months old. Sorry about that. So this is from our friend Alicia, and she titled this, "Love This, Keeping Us Current, 5 stars. I've been a fan of listening to these two while driving, and sometimes I catch myself laughing so hard and drivers give me an odd stare. Or my windows are wide open and cars drive by and hear words like oral, wine, virus, and health." These two have helped me keep current. I love that they always have something new and relevant to share, either themselves or by the interviews they choose. In my opinion, what makes A Tale of Two Hygienists the best dental hygiene podcast is two completely different personalities with many different opinions. Oh, I love her. But the same moral code and ethic.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. Who say what lots of us would want to say, or ask questions we may want to ask, and conduct interviews with people we want to hear from because they know their stuff, while keeping healthcare current and relevant. I would like to see this podcast extend to live viewing on television or on the radio. Oh, you're so adorable, Alicia.
Faces for radio.
Mine is for sure. I believe these two can get the word out there, reach those that don't seek healthcare because they don't know any better, change the medical profession's viewpoint on the mouth being a separate part of the body, and help quote-unquote doctors be active in the referral process. Awesome job, you two. Conquer the dental hygiene world.
Thanks, Alicia.
Winky face.
Winky face. Thanks for the 5 stars, since we still got to bring up that 1 star. Thanks again, Lacey G. Lacey G. You're the best.
I like how I feel like it was almost like a pointed thing against it, because she's like, this is relevant, this is new, this is whatever. I'm like, oh, well. Anyways, that's fun. Here's the thing, what I like about that. I like that people understand that we're very different people, both, personally and professionally. I think that, we're just different. We're weird, whatever, but that we have a, good moral and good ethics. And I like that. I like having a moral code.
Most of the time, until you start talking about perio, then I think you're an idiot.
I'm not wrong. I'm just an idiot.
Such a dum-dum.
So for this interview today.
Oh, can I just throw in one thing really fast? Sorry.
Oh, please.
I am on the search for people to come to Nicaragua with me in December. Just realized it was
Very
August,
nice.
and I might need to start, talking about that.
Yeah.
So it's December 9th. And what I'm really, 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 really hoping to have is some hygienists that know glass ionomer and silver diamine fluoride. I need to learn your tricks and technique, and I can't do it when I'm not practicing with it every day and then just trying to wing it. So I really want something. I mean, if dentists want to come, that's great because the extraction side of it is needed. Unfortunately, we can't save it all, and people are in pain. But I think I need some restorative people. Even if I just find one little nugget, I will take you, please, because I mean we're doing scaling and we're doing a lot of patient education, but there's such a need for the restorative and to get these people. I mean, keep them from extracting teeth when we come back around. So whatever we can do to make that happen. So if you are interested at all, if mission work has ever touched your heart just a little and you're like, maybe I should do that. Don't let the money will come. Just have faith and just contact me, please, because it's going to be in December and that'll sneak up on me like it usually does every day or every year. So, and RDH magazine or RDHE Village has put out several articles recently about silver diamine fluoride, and like kind of how to use it. So even if you're not like super proficient, like you can get caught up to speed really quick. I know if you look in a lot of the pedo articles and things like that they've been talking about it for 3 or 4 or 5 years pretty aggressively. So there's plenty of research out there, plenty of opinions on it. It's not a scary or a hard thing to use or to apply to people. So, look into that. And I feel the same with glass ionomer. Yeah.
So anyways, yeah. Don't let that be a scary thing.
Nope.
Go to Nicaragua with Michelle.
Let me know, because I need to help these people and not with my trying to wing it restorative skills.
Please don't wing it.
Yeah.
Please don't.
All right, I'm done.
I feel like your winging it on restorative is the same as like me winging it on perio. It's like, I'll shoot for it. It'll be fine.
Try.
You're like, no, don't touch that patient. Don't ever touch that patient ever in your life.
I know. And that's the thing that I hate about it, because I'm so proficient at like scaling root planing and implant therapy and all. And then when I go to look, I'm like, I don't know. How do you get that material to stay in a class 2? That's funny. I'm just stuff it in there and then hope for the best.
Well, I'll make this promise to anyone who goes on the trip with Michelle. She will sharpen all your instruments for you.
That is true.
Yep.
That is true. I will.
So.
Just ask Daniel. I don't think Daniel appreciated it, but
he didn't have a choice. It's fine.
He had no choice in the matter.
All right. So, hey, we have an interview.
Yes.
So maybe we should talk about that for just a minute.
The sweetest little human in all of the land.
Sorry. We don't have segments, by the way, everyone. Again, It's going to happen next week. Poor Michelle's all over the world. You heard her travel schedule. So she doesn't have her book that she's been using. So we'll get to it next week, but don't worry. And also, as a reminder, CE is coming. CE is happening. Our producer, Mike, is working on that right now behind the scenes still. So don't forget about that. Okay, so the interview. Yes, sweet woman, Kyle Isaacs. You've probably heard her on maybe the Mom Genesis podcast. You've seen her maybe in some of the magazines, some of the Facebook groups.
She's the new winner of the Award of Distinction this year.
And so we had a chance to catch up with her and kind of talk about, what she's doing and all the, why she won the award. And she's based out of Oregon, and she's actually not too far from me. I'm actually going to be driving probably pretty close to her house later on today. And has a big heart. And she's come a long way in this profession and has a lot of really great information to share. So open up your ears and get ready to listen to Kyle Isaacs. Hey, Michelle.
Yeah.
It's time for the interview.
Oh, but I had something else to say.
We need to let the experts talk now.
Fine.
Well, everyone, welcome back.
Oh, look at you taking the lead.
Another interview.
What is happening right now?
Hey.
I feel like our roles have been reversed. I've been chasing you around, trying to be your handler, and now you're taking the lead.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Our roles have reversed.
Let's get this going.
Yeah, because
so
we are
at
time
RDH
limit, but we
Under
have
One Roof in Chicago.
Yeah.
And we're under strict time limits given to us by our manager,
But with someone
Mike.
with great info, so we need to
know.
get it all in.
So we're going to get right to this, but we're going to have her on again because she's almost my neighbor-ish. So this is Kyle Isaacs, and she's from Oregon, and she's awesome. I'm sure everyone knows who she is already because she's awesome. But Kyle, if you don't mind just introducing yourself and kind of like what's going on and a little bit about your background. So last I heard, weren't you coming up from California or something?
Yes. Hi, everyone. This is very strange for me.
Now you're like on the other end of it, the other side. You
she's a listener too. Yeah, by the way, she's a listener.
Like you usually listen to
yes. I actually grew up in Delaware, the first state. Went to dental hygiene school in Boston, come from a dental family, and I moved to California so I could do more with my dental hygiene career, like local anesthesia. And they didn't have that back then, back in the old days. When I was graduating.
There are some states that still don't have it.
So.
I don't know if that's a thing. So.
And so there were a few people in my class from California, and I decided I was young. I moved there, and I loved it. Worked there for a long time. I also worked in Alaska, and then I moved to Oregon in December of 2013. And that's when everything changed for me.
Really?
So what? First of all, what took you to Alaska?
At the time, I was married to my first husband, and he is a forester, and he got a job with the Forest Service, and we went to Juneau. My kids were young at the time, so we thought it was a good time.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. I loved it. There wasn't enough sun for me.
Was it frustrating going from state to state with licensure and all that stuff? Yeah.
So I took the boards in the Northeast Regional boards. I took the Delaware State boards, and I took the California boards.
Oh my
I took
gosh.
3 boards.
Oh my
I know.
gosh.
You're like an expert in boards now.
You should have your own board course.
Jeez, right?
And Delaware actually had their
survive
own
all these
written
boards.
board too. So I took the national board and then Delaware's written board, which is like a national board.
Wow.
Do they still have that?
I
think
don't
the
know.
dentists, don't the dentists have a different one? Anyways, I'm sorry.
I'm not sure.
Digressing.
And then when I moved to Alaska, I was able to get my license through credentials and just pay a lot of money.
Right.
And then when I moved to Oregon, same thing. I was able to get it through credentials and pay a lot of money.
I was listening to one of our other episodes where I said something about by credentials, and all I have to do is pay money. And but with Oregon, though, do you do restorative at all? Because they have that function.
Right. I do not do restorative. I have expanded practice, local anesthesia, nitrous oxide. I had to retake my nitrous oxide because they said it was too old. So I did that.
So, but you really don't need a restorative for what you're doing these days, right?
I don't.
Yes. And tell us what you're doing these days.
Wow. I just quit my job.
That's awesome.
I was working for a corporation, and I was seeing mostly low-income patients, which I love. I just don't like the way the corporation would dictate what instruments I could buy, how often we could order. They didn't really know who I was. I was told I was a dime a dozen, and that just, for me, that put me over the edge. Because I know that I'm not to be egotistical or anything, but
you're not.
I know that I'm offer a lot. So
and to be called that anyway, even if you are like not Sunstar Award winner and all that, like, that's not okay. You can't.
I know. I couldn't believe that.
But I think that's what happens, though, right? It's like the people that want to take the time to really educate our patients and get them healthy and work towards health. I feel like those are the people that are getting kind of like, downtrodden a little bit.
Right. My last review, I was told to stick to the traditional OHI, which means brushing and flossing. And I looked at them and I said, well, I don't agree. And I ignored them. And I kept doing what I do, which is everything. Talking about xylitol, dry mouth, and Proxit brushes, and water picks, and alternatives, everything. So I quit. My last day was this past Friday. I helped to write a pilot project proposal to increase access to care for long-term care facilities in my area, and I'm starting to work on that, so I'm really excited about that.
Very good.
I also have my own mobile business. I work for ENDS, which is Exceptional Needs Dental Services, and I see low-income patients who are in these facilities, special needs, developmentally disabled, all that kind of thing. So I work for them. I have my own business, and I also work for the pilot project is with the county, Benton County, and I've been doing sealants in the schools with them.
So what brought you to do this type of work?
When I was in dental hygiene school, community health was like my least favorite class. I wanted to just get out there and start working in a dental office. I was young. I was 21 when I graduated from dental hygiene school. Yeah, I just wanted to get going on it. And so I worked in private practice with people who could pay. And in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, what about all those people who can't afford it? And so just before we moved to Oregon, I was thinking about getting my RDH AP. And to do that, you needed a bachelor's degree. I didn't have my bachelor's degree yet, but I had thought about it. I was raising my kids, and they were my priority at the time. And then I was able to do it online. So I got my bachelor's degree, and then we moved before I could do the RDH AP. And I moved to Oregon, and you can get an expanded practice permit. So I did that, and I learned.
What is the expanded practice permit for those that are not living in our state?
Oh, okay.
Well,
so
your state.
That means I can own my own business. I can go to people in their homes or different facilities, people who are 200% of the poverty level. I can go to prisons, schools, anybody who can't access care, nursing homes, you name it, that kind of thing.
And what kind of work? Sorry.
No, I was just this is hilarious because I live in South Carolina where they just assume if that happens, I'm going to kill the patient. Like, I'm not smart enough to apparently not kill a person.
Yeah.
So what's the scope of practice underneath that? Like, what are you actually allowed to do in these settings?
What can I do? I can scale. I can polish. I can do silver diamine fluoride. Yahoo!
Oh.
And I've been doing that, and
What
I'm
about
really
glass
excited
ionomer?
about that.
Anything like the ART or anything?
If you have a collaborative agreement with a dentist, then you can do temporary restorations without excavation. I'm working on getting a collaborative agreement. But the other thing is, in Oregon, we are trying to get rid of the collaborative agreement so then we can do it. Part of the problem has been that dentists do not want to sign a collaborative agreement.
Because you're going to kill the patient, obviously.
Yeah. They don't. The other part of the collaborative agreement, you can do local anesthesia, write prescriptions for antibiotics, chlorhexidine. Well, we can do that, the chlorhexidine anyway, but you could do antibiotics like for pre-med or for infection, and then you could do the temporary restorations. There's also something on there that says an assessment, but we do assessments anyway.
Right.
So I don't have the collaborative agreement, so right now I can't do local anesthesia in those settings. But if we can get rid of that, then I'll be able to do that. So for the time being, if I need someone who needs that, I've been using either Ceticaine or diclonine. That seems to work.
I was going to say, that usually works pretty okay.
Yeah, the Ceticaine's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just if they have, dentin hypersensitivity, then it makes it tough.
Yeah.
So I can do soft denture relines.
Wow.
Very interesting.
And I just, this past January...
Do you want to do that? Seems like that wouldn't be enjoyable for me.
Well, I want to be able to offer that, to...
Especially in the population that you're trying to see. I can see the absolute value in that.
Yeah. But the game changer for me has been the silver diamine fluoride.
Absolutely.
And then I'm hoping to be able to do the glass ionomers. The silver diamine fluoride, works great, but when you put the two together, it's even better. So I've been following a couple of dentists in Oregon, Dr. Steve Duffin and Dr. John Fricella. They're like the pioneers of silver diamine fluoride. Dr. Fricella came up with what we call SMART, which is the silver and the glass ionomer.
Y'all are both like nodding your head like y'all know this.
We do. Yeah. We practice that way in our office. So.
Yeah.
So say SMART again, because I definitely interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I don't know what the acronym is for. What's that?
Well, the silver diamine fluoride, the S, I don't know what the M is for, and then the ART.
The
okay.
restorative technique or whatever. But basically the idea is you're using silver diamine fluoride as almost kind of like a liner or something to arrest the decay, and then you're going to put that restorative material on top.
We need to have a whole episode on silver diamine and the different ways to like apply it and rinsing or not rinsing and things like that.
I was going to try and bring that up too with Kyle and just see like your protocol for application. What are some things that you're using to, 'cause sometimes it's hard to get the SDF deep in, maybe under a bridge or something.
Yeah, you do it often underneath crowns, and in places that are a little bit harder to get. Interproximally, you take superfloss and you dip it in, and then you can go interproximally, but just have to be careful. Don't bring it back up. Pull it through, because if you bring it back up, it can splash, and then even with safety glasses, it can get into somebody's eyes.
Really?
And it really works for interproximal decay. I follow Dr. Duffin's and Dr. Fricella's protocol, where we dry it and then apply it and put fluoride varnish on top, and the fluoride varnish protects it from the saliva.
Okay.
That makes sense.
And holds it onto the tooth. And you still get the zombie effect, and the zombie effect, you guys know what that is? Well, maybe other people don't know. The silver, which is a strong antimicrobial, gets reinvigorated over time, and it gets soaked up like a sponge with bacteria, dead bacteria, and then does its antimicrobial effects on other bacteria in the mouth. So it's not just where you place it, and it's not just for that little time period. So it's really amazing. And then with the glass ionomer, you get the release of fluoride. So the combination is really great. And what I'd really like, because I do sealants in the schools, is to do the silver diamine fluoride and a glass ionomer sealant instead of the resin-based sealants. I was part of a working group this year in Portland with the state, and we were talking about the possibility of changing from the resin-based sealants to the glass ionomer sealants. And we had some doctors from OHSU in Portland and a few other people who came to talk about the differences. And with the resin-based ones, you get better retention, because the glass ionomers, they actually dissolve and disappear, but you can reapply. But long term, you get a better decrease in caries rate with the glass ionomers because of the fluoride
side.
Yeah, and because the glass ionomer is hydrophilic and the tooth is hydrophilic, whereas the resin isn't. And you no matter what you can do, you can't get a completely dry field with the resin-based ones. You can get micro leakage underneath.
So which is everyone's complaint with sealants when they say they fail, they don't work.
Right. And so that's my goal, is to get the combination to do both. Because I do sealants in the schools. It's just it's mind-boggling to see the rampant decay that I see. And all I can do is make a referral, do the sealant, put fluoride varnish on, and to me that's not enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you feel like are some of the biggest barriers that you're kind of running into, though, as you're trying to pioneer a lot of these things?
So, as a mobile dental hygienist, or having my own business, the two biggest barriers are figuring out how to get paid.
Yeah,
and
that's a good one.
Getting into the nursing homes or facilities, and first you got to get into the staff, maybe it's the director of nursing, and explain to them the importance. You're going into a place that has a hair salon, but they don't have a dental room. Right. And then who do you talk to who's in charge of that patient? Who's the guardian? Who makes the decisions? So it's kind of a tough process, and I'm in the process now of starting to think about maybe someday soon starting either a nonprofit or something where I can do that and coordinate getting other dental hygienists who want to do this to help them get into these facilities. So part of it is I have a presentation that I do for these facilities on the importance of oral health and the systemic connections and all that, as well as better behaviors and lower costs, fewer hospitalizations. But it's getting in.
Well, it's so funny because it's like they don't want to do it, and you would just assume that they're like begging for you to come.
Right.
But then when you hit that barrier, you're like, wait, what? Really? Like, why?
Right.
But it comes down to cost and money and payment, and I think that's I mean, everyone's struggling in dentistry right now. Have you read Mary Otto's Teeth?
I have that book on my book stand, but I have so many others I'm reading right now. So, but I
was
have
listening
it.
to it on the way here,
Yeah.
on the flight, and it's just mind-boggling that we are in 2017 still having this like issue. So money and just getting the word out, like why? I mean, I think, is Oregon already better with oral, like understanding oral health anyway? They're better, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ish.
I think it's still an issue, especially with the public and the medical community.
Okay.
But I think it's getting better because we do have some dental hygienists in some pediatric offices, but I believe all they're doing is maybe assessments and fluoride varnish. I was approached by a pediatric medical office to come in and do sealants and assessments and fluoride varnish, but the barrier was they wanted to charge me $150 a day to use the room, and most of the kids would be what we have OHP, which is the Medicaid, and some of the Medicaid providers will only reimburse you per appointment,
per contact, or
contact,
whatever,
and I believe one of them is $10. So if you do sealants and a prophy and fluoride varnish, I mean, how can I?
$10?
Yeah, how can I?
It's not very.
No, and they just didn't understand. They said they couldn't budge. That's their deal, $150.
One of the things I see in Oregon, this is just, and I'm like a visitor to Oregon, so correct me if I'm wrong, is I feel like the state in general is pretty health conscious, though. I feel like they do a really good job, but I do feel like sometimes they do take their Medicaid and Medicare, their state insurance for granted a little bit. They don't. I feel like they don't utilize it as well as they could, because I know there are certain companies out there that have like Medicaid only offices, and the no-show rate is ridiculous.
I can tell you all about that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So
that's where I was working, and I love seeing those patients because I love being able to make a difference in their health. But people don't show up, they don't call, they don't care, they don't. Not everybody, and it is frustrating. And then from the corporation, you get. How come you're not bringing in more money? Well, if people don't show up, what can I do?
Yeah, that's the frustrating part. Mike and I worked in Washington, for pediatrics that did Medicaid, and it was frustrating because, and you're right, not everyone's like that, but I feel like it's a higher percentage of people that no show with the Medicaid versus fee for service or
if people don't pay a little something, they have no skin in the game.
There's no value.
Right.
They don't put the value on it.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Even down to a toothbrush. Like how many times do you think they leave like their goodie bag in the car or somewhere and don't use it because it was free?
Right.
But if they paid like $1 for it, like I paid for that, I don't want to throw that away.
Right. Yes.
They need a little, like you said, skin in the game. So the mission group that I go with in Nicaragua, like they have free healthcare in the country. It's crap, but they have this quality care facility and they charge something because they know that they will value that. I mean, it's chump change at the end of the day. I mean, they're working hard for it. Okay, like in Uganda, it's like $12 to birth a child.
Right.
Like just crazy small amounts of money, but they put value on it, and they've said that from the very beginning.
That's what I always said too. I mean, even if some people can only pay $1, it's something, and then they value it more. So that is an issue.
Circling back to the SDF though, are you finding compliance with that? Okay, do you have them sign release forms?
Yeah, we have a consent form. I actually have some 2 pages of on photo paper with photos and explains so you can see what it looks like. So they have to read the consent form and sign it and know. I had 2 patients recently. One who came in and she had rampant decay from like number 5 through number 11, where completely decayed. She couldn't brush her teeth because it hurt. So I was doing scaling and root planing. You need to dry those areas when you apply it, and then you can imagine someone who's sensitive and drying. So I did the upper right, and she was numb, so I was able to dry 5, 6, 7, and 8, and I just applied it on there. I took a photo when she came back, and you could see it was a great photo because you could see one application, and sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2,
Right.
It can be up to 5. I was just amazed. She could brush her teeth; they didn't hurt anymore.
Wow.
And then the next time
What a
I did,
testimony.
yeah. Then we had another patient who had gone through extensive treatment for breast cancer. She wasn't in treatment anymore, but between all the treatments and not being able to eat, so she was drinking Ensure.
Oh yeah.
Rampant decay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Terrible pain, couldn't eat, and we applied once, and then she came back and applied again, and she went out to get some ice cream, and she was so excited. She was so
That's awesome.
grateful.
Yeah.
So not only are you stopping the decay, but
making
you're
them comfortable
making
and
them
being able to enjoy
and
life
being able to
again,
brush their
little
teeth
things,
again.
the little things.
Quality of life. And it's about 60 cents a drop. 1 drop treats about 5 teeth. Depends, some lesions are bigger, so I might put a little bit more in that lesion. And then you just have your micro brush, maybe some cotton rolls, air water syringe tip. And then sometimes people will put Vaseline on the
Just so it
gingiva.
doesn't-
I haven't done it.
I haven't done that either.
That's it. So it's not that expensive to use.
Not at all.
Yeah.
That's great. So are you lecturing while you're here?
I am not lecturing while I'm here, but I am going to apply to hopefully lecture next year on
Yay.
silver diamine
Great.
fluoride and smart fillings, and possibly dementia with someone else. And
Should
different
definitely
tactics.
have that lecture, RDH.
Any different things you can do with
We'll see what we can do.
patients.
We'll use our
We have
influence.
So a very little influence here,
Yeah.
but we'll try.
Yeah,
It's a
I
great
really want to
lecture.
do it because I want to spread the word on that.
And it's so needed.
So this is what I see when traditional dentistry, and I know you're a restorative dentist or dental hygienist,
Hygienist, right.
and I understand that, but I mean, if you go to a doctor and you have an infection on your toe, you don't want the doctor to cut your toe off, right?
Right.
But dentistry, what do? We cut,
Well, yank the tooth out. Like it's
yank the
not
tooth
an
out,
amputation of a
cut.
body part.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be that way.
Amazing. It's amazing.
I will still have a job as a hygienist when we fix the restorative problems. Don't worry about me.
That's not
Okay.
going anywhere
I'm
anytime
good.
soon.
I'm good.
Not in our career will that go away.
So you're not lecturing here, but what are you doing here? Why
am I here?
What's the big deal? I'm so excited for you. This is so great.
Well, I love
Great
UOR
news.
for one thing, but I did win the Sunstar Award of Distinction, so I'm
Yay.
really excited about that.
Congratulations.
But I just feel like I'm little old me, doing
Great
what's
things.
important.
That's why we
and-
love you so much.
But the bigger thing is I want to inspire other dental hygienists to do things. And just start with something little. Doesn't have to be big, and one little thing will lead to something else,
Of
to something
course.
else, and then once you start doing it, it feels great.
That does feel good.
I want to regress back to when you were talking about hygiene school and like how community health was your least favorite thing, because it's kind of mine too. And my master's is in education, but my thesis was in public health because I always thought education would be great. but you always kind of come back to this. And you said, like, when you were seeing those patients that could pay for things, that you were always like thinking about those other people. And for me, I always found, and you can tell me if this is like, and I think other people are going to get this too, they feel happy when that one person, like, that couldn't make it, like they couldn't afford it or just barely could afford it, made a change. And I felt like that always warmed my heart and made me happier than like the affluent person that was like, oh, just, you're gonna floss my teeth, I'll come here once a month, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And so, like, I think even new grads and new students might hate community health, but that will warm your heart, and you'll notice, like, you'll start to change your perspective as you get through school and out of school.
I think for me, it was when I volunteered. I mean, I had volunteered over the years, but then I did CDA cares in San Jose, and I just was like mesmerized by the enormity of it and the number of people volunteering and all the people in need. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to put on a big thing like that. And then I realized, that's that's pretty big. So instead, I organized kind of a little health fair. It didn't come out exactly as I wanted, but we did screen patients for oral abnormalities. Debbie Z came, and she spoke the night before, and she helped me with it the day of, and she gave me a lot of support along the way. You can do it. You can do it. You know, okay, you need this and this. And I had a woman there, a nurse. She had talked to people about how to do breast exams. We did blood pressure screenings. I was hoping to get someone to do skin checks and dermatology, but they just didn't come. Tried to get some students from the Oregon State University, but for some reason they said they couldn't come, some kind of legality, because sometimes they could do the blood sugar checks. And so that was my way of doing a little, like, mom type thing. And I'm going to do another one, hopefully in January, with our local community college, Lane Community College, with the students and dental hygienists combined. Nice. So I'm going to help organize that, getting that going. But I found that when I started volunteering, it just felt so good. People are so appreciative. I just can't describe it. So I did write an article for RDH last year about the benefits of volunteering. Nice. It had something about the starfish. I had a little about the starfish effect. At the beginning of that, you know, because it can be overwhelming where you think you're not making a dent, you're not making a difference, but if you help one person, you've done something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's so great. And don't get just, like, you're going to get beat down.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just pick yourself up. Like, let's just go ahead. Don't go in and think it's going to be like puppies and rainbows.
Yeah,
like, it's
eyes wide open. It's going to be rough.
It's going to be rough, and you're just going to get smacked down a few times, and things aren't going to go well, and it's going to be a little stressful, but the reward at the end is always way more significant, I think.
And that's how you grow and progress, right? You have to go through that stuff, and otherwise you're going to be the same old. So
one of the things about me is I'm tenacious, persistent. I don't give up. You know, I may have to email or call someone 1,000,000 times because, you know, you get an email and then you forget about it. Yeah. But I just keep doing it.
You've done that for me. Thank you.
I've done that with a lot of people. Yeah. But the only way to get things done is you just have to be persistent.
Yeah.
And know that people are going to say no, but don't let that stop you. Try a different tactic, and that's what I do.
Or find out why it's a no.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe they don't even understand what you're asking.
So
find out why it's a no.
So work on my communication skills.
Well, or their IQ of the situation or whatever it is. Like, just find out why it's a no, and I don't know. Good for you, though. Thanks for being in dental hygiene.
So we need to wrap up real quick, but any last messages, and then also contact information, please, if you would be so inclined.
Well, I hope that what I do inspires everybody else to do something. And like I said before, start with just one little thing. And I'm here to help anybody. I want to mentor people if I can. I'm still learning, as I told Andrew before. I wrote to him, I said, I'm a work in progress, but it came out as I am a dork in progress.
And I love that first one better, the second one better.
God, those autocorrects are amazing sometimes.
It was awesome.
And,
It was
do
perfect.
I get to tell today's story?
Yeah, I mean, let's do contact information first, and then we'll do it at the end.
Okay. So I have a website. It's Miles, TWOSmiles.com. I'm on Facebook. I have an email, kjulin@gmail.com. And it's the only thing I didn't change after I got a divorce because I thought it was out there in too many places.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
So that's
Perfect.
Thank you
I'm
so
on
much.
LinkedIn too.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that is.
That's okay. Well, they can find you. They can just
Yeah.
search for you.
Oh, you got a lot. We can find you.
And she
somehow.
does respond to messages. I can
Yes.
attest to
Yes.
that
I do.
because we've
Yes.
slowly becoming more and more friendly. And okay, so let's tell the story.
All right.
Okay.
What's the story?
So Andrew says, Kyle, we'll be leaving at 4:45, and I'll be there at 5.
Okay, hold on. So let's back up. First of all, she's a couple hours south of Portland, and she was going up and staying in an Airbnb. I'm not familiar with that part of town or whatever, and it's probably about 15, 20 minutes from my house. So I'm like, oh, well, I'll just go pick you up on our way to the airport because whatever.
Because he was giving you a little personal chauffeur,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Right. And she met my whole entire family while we were at it. And we're all squished in there. She got a little comfortable with my wife just because, like, right there. But, okay, so here's the thing. So I was trying to figure out, like, the best time to go pick her up because traffic going into Portland on a weekday is a terrible idea.
Oh, okay.
And so I did tell her, I said 4:45
You
is
said
when
you
we'll
were leaving
leave
at
the house.
and that you would be there at 5.
Be there at 5.
So I slept until the last possible minute. 4:45. I get up. All I do is go to the bathroom, wash my face, brush my teeth, and put my clothes on. And I was in the bathroom. Well, apparently he called me while I was in the bathroom, so I didn't hear the phone. I came back around into the little room, and I hear, Kyle? From outside.
Hold on. Just because
outside
I
my
don't
window.
want anyone to think I'm a creep. Okay, there's this Airbnb that's all really dark, except for there was a light on in a bedroom. And I'd been trying to call her, and it went straight to voicemail. And I tried to call her on Facebook Messenger, nothing. Like, nothing was working for an extended period of time. So it wasn't like I was, like, creeping around neighborhoods
Oh, my
in the middle of
goodness.
Portland. Weird. And I had Mike there as, like, my bodyguard just in case I was going to get beat up. I was like,
He was
So can
standing
you
right
imagine
outside
that?
my window.
Kyle.
That's my nightmare, actually.
And I was, like, knocking on the
You
thing.
just
Knock, knock,
experienced my
knock.
nightmare with this one.
Of course, I ran.
I'm like, sorry. But I didn't want to, like, I wasn't sure if it was like you're renting a room or if you're renting the whole house. I'm like, I didn't want to, like, ring doorbells and all that kind of stuff too.
Oh,
I'm like,
my
at
God.
freaking 4:45 or 4:50 or whatever it was in the morning.
Super early.
Yeah.
I was early. Yeah, I was probably about 10
Four-
minutes.
So not normal.
It was 5 minutes after I got up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
I'm sorry you had to wake up like that.
It was okay.
hey, most people enjoy waking up that way.
Most people is Allison. That is not most people.
Actually, Allison hates it too. She's kind of grumpy butt this morning. So we had to get up so early.
Oh, yeah,
But I really
with the boys
appreciate
and everything.
the ride. That was awesome.
Oh, happy to
Thank
do it.
you so
It was-
much.
And then
I
guess what? I
appreciate
forgot
the
my
face-
wallet at home. And then
That's
I
a
forgot
Michelle
my
move.
my bag in the car.
Oh.
So Allison came to the airport 3 times.
Poor thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but we only
Andrew,
live
that's a
10
Michelle
minutes,
move
15
for
minutes.
Sure.
So, anyways, we need to wrap this up because I think
Jeez.
Josie's over there.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
thanks again.
All right. Thank
is
you, guys.
awesome.
I'm so grateful to be here with
Please,
you.
we're grateful
We're-
to
yeah, we're
have
grateful.
you.
Award
Yeah.
winner and everything.
I know.
Spend time with us.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Yeah.
Have a good week, everyone.